Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how to resize and to crop your images in WordPress. I've had a few people asking me this with regards blog posts and especially with regards to sliders on their homepage. So I'm going to go through it. First things first is if you are using WordPress.com, then when you're in My Sites, you need to scroll down to the bottom on the left and see where it says WordPress or WP admin. You need to click that. So this will bring you into the WordPress dashboard. You may or may not have been in here before, but it's just going to be easier for you to follow along with me if you do this. So we're in WP admin for WordPress.com and we're going to be using the media library. But alternatively, if you have a hosted site and you're using WordPress, then you will be familiar with this dashboard because it will be the only one you use. So I'm already in the media library and I'm going to go through two things. One is resizing the image and the other one is cropping. So I'm going to pick one of these here. So when you hover over it, you can have edit, you can have delete, view, generate thumbnails. So I'm just going to click edit. I will show you an alternative way of going into edit it also. Okay, so then we get all of the information on the file. It has a title, it has a file type over here on the right, it also has the file size and the dimensions, which are the two at the moment that we are going to be looking at. So right down here, just underneath the image on the left hand side is edit image. So click that please, and then we get to this. So this is similar, it still has all the details on the side, the image preview. Now, first, to resize the image, you need to use the scale image box. Resizing it just means you're downsizing from, if it's a 4 megabyte file or a 2 megabyte file and you want it to be a lot smaller. This is even a little bit too big for the site, so I will be resizing this a little bit more. So your dimensions here, this will only affect the overall size of the image. It won't affect the proportions and it won't affect the frame of the image, so you're not going to cut anything off. So generally I would say you want images between 800 and 1000 pixels on the long side for blog posts. For other things they will recommend that you have smaller settings, so always go with what the recommended is for that particular theme that you're using. Okay, so you put in the 800 and it automatically changes the second number because it's keeping the proportions, and you click scale. Now you won't see any difference in the image. Now there's no visually, nothing that's different there. Nothing here at the moment, but when you click update, now it will take you out of the edit box, but this is just for informational purposes. And now you can see that it now says it's only 429 kilobytes instead of 685, and the dimensions are, as we put them, 800 by 450. Now I want to go back into the edit image box again, because sometimes you have a slider on your main page, your home page of your website, and it has specific dimensions. Most of the time it will use the feature image that you add to the post and it will just centralize it. So this particular image would probably work quite well because the text and the main part of the image is right across the middle, but you need to know how to crop if you're taking people's heads off or it's zooming in on parts of the image that just don't make any sense. So there are two ways. One, you can do it freehand. Now you can see here that the crop mark is actually faded out, which for me is a bit confusing. But if you just go onto the actual image, click and drag, you can create the crop box. Whatever way you need it. You can do it by eye, you know, once you're kind of used to exactly what the slider picks, you can do that by eye. And see now that the crop button is actually active. So you click crop, and then you click save. Right now I'm not going to click save because I want to go back and I want to show you something else. So I'm just going to click cancel and say OK. And we're going to go back in. So we're going to use this down here, the crop image box. So the aspect ratio, that you can use the specific dimensions that they give you for it. So sometimes it might be 1200 by 300, which is going to be very, very thin, but if you just click then, it brings it up, and you cannot distort the proportions. You cannot make it into a square, you cannot make it into a portrait because of the image. So if I just change this to 600, you'll see that it's actually changed it a bit more. The key thing is you just have to click on the image and drag a box so you can actually see what's going on. So then to finish this off, so you've got your crop box here, you need to click crop, and then you need to click save. So if you have already put your image into your blog post, you can still edit it. You can still edit the file size, and you can still edit the crop of the image. You just have to click on each image, click edit, and then say edit original. It's the exact same as what we've done before. So you either change the scale dimensions, which this one is actually fine, it's at 800 by 392, but just so you see, when I put in a number, it's automatically adjusting the second number because it's keeping the proportions and it's keeping the frame, so nothing will be cropped out. Then, as you see here, it's the same. The crop button is faded away. So if you wanted a specific crop ratio for a slider, for just a thinner image for your blog post, you can put in the ratio here, say 1200 by 300. So then as soon as you create a box, it will show you that that's it. So you cannot change the actual proportions. So it will always be, in some respect, 1200 by 300. You can't make it into a square. You can't adjust that one to come down unless that one can go out. That's the only way. But down here, once you have clicked the selection, then the box will come up here. So you can change this to 300, and then that's to 600. So you can see it's a slightly chunkier piece if you wanted to change it to 300. The selection numbers will not be highlighted until you actually create a box. Up here, so say if we hit crop, and then you realize that is not what I wanted, there is an undo button. So you click undo, and then you can change you can delete the aspect ratio, and you can create a box, just selecting what it is that you want, okay? So it's fairly straightforward. So even if you've already put the pictures into your post, you can still resize them and edit them without too much hassle, okay? And that's it. Any questions, just let me know. And if there's any other topics you want me to cover, just ask. Bye.